If you saw part one, great. If you didn't, you don't really need to see it to watch this one, but I mean, it would help me a lot if you go check it out. So the Easter egg to start off isn't really that bad. You just have to go and get the spoon. I already explained this in my last video, so I don't think I need to really elaborate. You take the spoon, and it can also be the golden spork, but the bare minimum is the spoon. You go over to the warden's house, and then you knife this wall. You have two options here. You can either wait till round 17 and get a Brutus that slams down and shocks you, or you can get the monkey bombs, enter 666 into the number dial pad, throw a monkey bomb up there while the Brutus chases after it and slams down to open the wall that you have just knifed, or I guess spooned, to rip open. I honestly don't have any problem with that. It just kind of sucks that you kind of have to get lucky out of the box to get the monkey bombs on an early round, to do it earlier than round 17, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. Anyway, you open up this little area, and this is probably the coolest part of the Easter egg, is having this little area. You interact with this guy, and then a whole cutscene happens where stuff is flying around, and then you pick up a little orb, this little red thing. But you got to run all the way back to the spawn. And might I add, this when I beat the Easter egg, I forgot to pick up the orb. So I ran all the way to the spawn, which is literally on the opposite corner of the map. Like, you can't get any farther away from the warden's office to the spawn. So if you forget to pick it up, you gotta run all the way back, which I did in my game, which sucks, and pick up the red dot and go all the way back. And the fast travels kind of help, but not really. It's really annoying. And so you find the Chronorium. You can't just pick it up for some reason. A bird steals it, and I don't know why. Like, you can't just grab it and be done with it. But you gotta have an Easter egg. So the bird steals it and whatever. Now, here is where everyone has an issue. This is the eagle step. For the next 4 rounds, you got to go around the entire map looking for an eagle, which has 40 locations of which it can spawn at. And you can only find this bird looking through your shield. You throughout the entire map. I really do wonder if, one, they had half as many locations. If there were 20 locations around the map, like one in each area, would that be better? And two, if you only had to do it once. Now, I said 4 times, but you only have to shoot the bird 3 times, right? And then the 4th time, you just have to look at it and like throw your Hell's Retriever at it. I think it would be so much better if you only had to shield blast the bird once, and then the next round go into zombie blood and like throw your Hell's Retriever at it. I wish that was the only. If that was the way to do it, it would be so much better. I don't think anyone would have too much of an issue with it. It's just the fact that you have to do it 3 rounds in a row. 3 rounds in a row. And then you have to do it one more time, and if you shield bash the bird in the 4th time, you gotta wait a whole nother round to do it again. And he won't spawn in the same spot. You have to go look for him in one of the other spots. It's not hard. It's a little bit tedious. It's easy. It's just, come on. It's just so time consuming. You don't, like, why do you have to do it 3 times? Like, really? Anyway, once you do that, the bird will drop the Chronorium, and then you bring it back to the guy in the chair. Now, this will start a process of 5 stages. Now, before I say anything, why does it have to be 5 stages? There are 5 challenges that you have to do. Why can't it just be 3 random challenges of 5? You know, like, it's a different each game, but it's 3 random ones picked from a pool of 5 challenges. You know, I feel like that would have been so much better. But no, we have to do all 5 every single time you want to do the Easter egg, and it is insanely hard on solo, and I will explain it. So the first one I will go over is the Shocking the Ghost. In between each of these, you have to interact with the guy with the Chronorium. You have to look through your shield to see these numbers on the pages. Go back to the number dial, use your shield to shock the dial, and input those numbers. And then, you have to look around the map, using your shield, looking through your shield to try to find these little orb thingies around in which you can shoot with your shield to start a challenge. You have to use so many shield shots in this Easter egg. It is unbelievable. That's why I had such a big issue with it in my last overview, because you have to use so many shield shots. When you're on like round 30, trying to train the zombies around, it is difficult to try to get shield blasts, and you need so many of them. And it's not just this step. It's not just this step that you need them. You need them during the challenges of the Easter egg. Quick, I did some quick maths in my head, and so it's not completely accurate, but hear me out. You need around 40 shield shots, meaning you need about 120 zombie kills just with your shield. That's like round 22 to 25 right there. Just getting kills with your shield, and you're doing that constantly throughout the Easter egg. So the shock the ghost step. So this is the challenge in New Industries. You shock the thing, and you have to kill a zombie in the spawn room of Mob of the Dead, right? And then if you look through your shield, you will see a ghost flying, right? You have to shock the ghost with your shield, and then zap it with your key. And you gotta do that about 4 or 5 times. I'm assuming it's easy on co-op, because if both your guys have upgraded shields, so that's 8 shots with your shield, one person trains the zombie while one guy's using all their shield shots trying to charge this guy up with their key. It's very easy. But on solo, it was so difficult trying to keep this guy in one spot and not kill the zombies and not get killed and lose my shield while shocking this guy. It is so tedious. And I hear people talk about the Morse Code step, how it's horrible. I've never heard anything about this step. This is my least favorite step in the entire Easter egg. It's not that it makes no sense. This one is one of the few that actually kind of makes sense for the Easter egg, right? That kind of makes sense to the story, but it's so tedious and annoying, and you have to keep shocking him until you can see him without your shield, which, whatever. So once you get to that point, you gotta wait for him to go all the way back to New Industries, and as he's approaching the door, you gotta turn on the trap and kill him in the trap, and then he drops the little orb and you pick it up and you're done with that. That's the first one, and that's my least favorite one. The second one I'll talk about is the Escort the Ghost from the cafeteria, and this is probably one of my favorite ones. If I'm correct, this is the Michigan Avenue one challenge. So you go to Michigan Avenue, shock your shield at the orb there. You have to kill a zombie at the cafeteria, right? Look through your shield, a ghost should appear, shock the ghost, and you will now be able to see him without your shield. Now he's gonna go places. You gotta follow him, because the zombies will no longer go after you, which I like. I like the zombies don't go after you and the ghost. It just goes after the ghost, because in this step you can just use monkey bombs, your magma gat, and just your specialist, and it's really easy. It's simple. It's not too hard. It's not. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's definitely not hard. It's really fun, I think, trying to escort this ghost, and it's not that far. It's just from the cafeteria to the warden's office, or like back to like the Michigan Avenue portal thing. But the thing about it is that it does get very hectic towards the end, because a Brutus spawns, and if you're on a Brutus round when you're doing this, like a million Brutuses spawn. Because I remember doing this my first time, and like 6 or 7 Brutuses spawned all at once, and I was just barely struggling to survive, because Brutuses are so strong in this one, and like even with the Mark II, I was really, really struggling. But yeah, you escort him all the way back without him dying, and you get your little orb. Probably my favorite step of all of them. Next one is the Simon Says, and this is the one I'm about to tear into. This is the one where I don't understand why it has to exist, has no relevance to the story, and I absolutely hate it. So this is the Power Center one. Remember that useless building I was ripping into last episode? Yeah, here is that portion of the video where I just rip into this place. So it has a challenge. You zap it with your shield, and you have to go all the way back to the other power center in the prison. Yeah, so in here you play a Simon Says game, which I don't have a problem with. You just play a Simon Says. It's not that bad. It's really easy, and it's actually kind of fun to do. It's a little bit annoying on solo because you have to train around a zombie, but it's not bad, honestly. Once you finish the Simon Says game, you will get 3 symbols that you have to remember, right? 3 panels will light up with symbols that you have to write down, and whatever. Also, you cannot forget to pick up this punch card on this table, because if you do, you will have to go all the way back and pick it up, like I did, because I am stupid and forgot the punch card. Just more steps that don't really need to happen. You're just making it more tedious just to make it more tedious and annoying. I don't get it. So, once you're done with Simon Says, you get your symbols, you get your punch card. You go all the way back to the top area of the spawn. You put the punch card in this little machine, and then symbols will pop, like these monitors with the symbols will pop up. You take your symbols that you got from the power room. You find the monitor with the corresponding symbol. You interact with it, and it will turn into another symbol, which you will write down. You do that, there's 3 symbols, so you're technically getting 6 symbols, but you only need to remember the 3 new symbols that you got from using the old symbols that you got from the symbols in the power room. Are you following me? So you get those symbols, and you go to the new power room, the useless room, and if you look through your shield, no, you don't just see it, no, you have to look through your shield. You will see a ghost flying around, and it's hovering over these levers. Under these levers are symbols of which you potentially saw in the spawn room. Now, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I had trouble finding some of the symbols, and that it already with the step being annoying, it did not help. So when the ghost is on his way to hover over a switch of one of your symbols, right? Not when it's at it, but when it's on its way. So you like if you're late and he's already over the symbol and you bash him, you've messed up, right? But when he's on his way to a symbol that you have, you shield blast him and he will flip the lever over, and you need to do that 3 times. My question is, I have a few questions here. Why do you need to do the second step? Why do you need to take the symbols from the downstairs area and put them into the monitors and get new symbols? Why do you have to do that? Why can't, like, it's just an extra step that doesn't need to happen, okay? Or my second question with this is, what relevance does this have to the story? What does this ghost flipping levers have to do with any of the story? I am so confused as to why this has to be a step. But the biggest problem with this step, right, is if you mess up, if you got 2 of your symbols, right, done and he flipped the levers for both of those, and you mess up the last lever, right, you were too late, or he messed up, you got another lever and you turned the other lever, you have to do that entire step all over again. All over again. All of that. You have to do that all over again. You gotta do the Simon Says thing. You gotta get the punch card. You gotta go all the way back up. Get your symbols. Turn those symbols into new symbols. And re-shock him. Like, I don't get why people complain about the Morse Code step. This step is way, way, way worse than that. This step is way worse than that. And I said the shocking the ghost step was the worst. No, this is the worst. This is the worst one. This is the worst step. It is terrible. It is horrible. If you mess up at the very end, you gotta do the entire thing over again. And it takes like 15 minutes. It takes forever to do. It's so stupid. I don't understand why Treyarch thought it was a good idea. It was, oh my gosh. And that's the only use for this area. That is the only use for this area. If this Easter egg step didn't exist, this area doesn't exist. Because there wouldn't be this area. That's the whole reason this area exists. And it sucks. It sucks. I hate it. I hate it so much. Okay. 2 more. 2 more steps. We got the Banjo step next. And I like this step. This step is not bad. This is the step for the showers portal. So you shock the showers portal, and what I assume is Al Capone comes out with his banjo, right? And he hands it to you. You pick up the banjo, and then there's like a ring somewhere in the showers where you have to stand in and get kills. And I like that. It's sort of like a lockdown step, but it's a little bit different. It has its own little twist to it. I do really like it. You get enough kills, and then you go back and you hand Al Capone his banjo back, and then he drops you a little orb. It's that simple. That's literally all it is, and that's why I like it. It's short. It's somewhat difficult. Like, I wouldn't say it's easy. It's very hard to get kills down there, but it is straightforward. It's quick, somewhat difficult, and it's quick. Okay, one thing I forgot when recording the audio is that be very careful when you're on this step, because if you go down, at least on PC, your game will crash. Because I was on this step 3 times, and 2 of the times I downed, and both times I downed, my game crashed when I downed during this step. So just be very careful on this step. I still love this step, but it sucks. Just don't go down. It's not. It makes sense. It's Al Capone with his banjo. You gotta get killed. It makes sense. It fits the map. It fits the map so well. This one is probably my favorite. This one and the Escort Ghost are my 2 favorites. I love them. And then the last one is the Morse Code step. I don't know why people hate this step so much, because And after, like, I say that because I've never heard anything about the Shock the Ghost step. I've never heard anything about the Lever step, the Simon Says one. I cannot believe that people bash on the Morse Code step over the other two. I cannot believe it. It's unbelievable. Like, the Morse Code step is not that bad. With two people, this step could be so easy. It could be so easy. So what you have to do, this is the docs challenge, by the way, is you have to go up to this Morse code thing in the warden's office, and just by trial and error, there's like a set of 8 dashes and dots that you have to input into this thing. But here's the thing: you get unlimited attempts. You get unlimited attempts. So you can just have, if you're playing co-op, have one person train the zombie and have the other person do this Morse code thing, and get it done, and you're golden. The only thing is that if the round ends, it changes. So like if you like 6 symbols in, or like 6 like dashes and dots in, and the zombie dies out, it'll be different the next round. But it's not hard. It's really easy. It's literally just trial and error. And sure, on solo it's kind of annoying, but like if you have this, like, first off, if you pop a temporal gift, get a zombie blood and start doing it right away, and you have your specialist katana with the zombie blood thing, you don't have to worry about the zombie for like quite a bit, for a couple minutes. And plus you also have your shield to block you for a little bit, and you can just like keep running back and forth with the zombie and trying to get the dashes and dots. So it's not that bad. I don't know why people hate on this step so much when there are way worse steps in this Easter egg. But once you're done with the Morse code step, you gotta go up into the infirmary, kill a zombie, and then through your shield, look through your shield, you'll see a ghost, zap him, and then he'll appear without having to look through your shield. You kill about 10 to 15 zombies, and then he'll start moving. Or rather, he'll start following you. And you could just keep killing zombies as he's following you. You take him to the gondola, go down to the docks, and bring him to the portal thing at the docks, and then you're done. You get your gem thing, and that's it. I don't know why people have such a big issue with this step. It wasn't that hard. It's not that difficult. It's not that tedious. I think it's okay. It's one of the few steps that's okay. I don't know why people hate it. I really don't. Once you got all 5 of the little bulbs, right, you go all the way to the spawn, and you place them on this board. Then, from the spawn, you go all the way back to the warden's office, and then interact with the zombie. You will then have a cutscene, and Brutus will destroy you, and you'll have a Brutus cutscene. Now, this is one of the coolest things ever. And this is why I say this map has some diamonds in the rough, because the cutscene, the story, and everything but the gameplay is amazing. Man, it is. They really do a good job with these cutscenes. Once you're done with the cutscene, you are escorted by this bird all the way back to spawn, in which he will kill a bunch of Brutuses in your way. Once you get back to spawn, he will drop a bulb. You take that bulb, go downstairs, place it on the board, and you are done with everything. You are ready to move on to the boss fight. That last step right there, where you have to kill Brutus, is a good step. I like that step. It makes sense. It makes sense, unlike the freaking power step. And then the boss fight, it's underwhelming. Yeah, you were expecting me to hype it up a little bit more. No, the boss fight is very underwhelming. Yeah, the boss fight is really underwhelming. You just run around in circles a little bit, kill enough zombies, wait for it. You gotta shoot some bulbs and then shoot Brutus with your shield or something. It's like, it's stupid. And then you do that enough times, and then a really big Brutus comes out. You just keep shooting him. And then if you get enough health on him, Richtofen comes out, and then he puts himself into the blood thing, the thing that sucks his blood out. But yeah, it's very, very, very underwhelming. Unfortunately, it's a very, very long, complicated, tedious, and hard Easter egg, and then you get the most underwhelming boss fight. My question is like, how can you go from the Voyage of Despair boss fight and the 9 boss fight to this shit? I mean, like, you had so much set up to make this an amazing boss fight. You had so much. Like, you have, like, we're fighting someone we know. We know Brutus, we know Ferguson, like we have someone we know that we're fighting. Why not make this the big challenge? You're just running around in circles and shooting shooting a Brutus that's a little bit bigger than normal. That's it. But even after all that, the cutscene is amazing. The cutscene is awesome. I will tell you, This map has, I keep saying it over and over and over again. This map has the best story, the best cutscenes, the best ambiance it's everything but the gameplay is so good. And watching that cutscene was so awesome and so emotional. And I can't it's so sad to say that the Easter egg is not worth it though. It's not worth it. Like I'm all for hard Easter eggs. I'm all for it. Make it as hard as you can. But have it make sense. Have it like at least make me have some fun. Right? I had fun doing Voyage. I had fun doing 9. But I didn't have any fun playing this map ever. Maybe like getting the spoon in the magma gat. That was kind of fun. But that's it. And the Brutus cutscene was pretty cool, but that's kind of it. There was not really many points where I'm like, oh, I love this. No, never. It's always like, when is this gonna end? You know, it's always what I was thinking. I mean, you had everything set up to make this such an awesome boss fight, and it's the most underwhelming piece of shit ever. After making the Easter egg like even worse, like come on, it could have been one of the all-time bests. It could have been. It is probably one of my least favorite maps ever. I'll come back to you with my tier list once I'm done with all the maps, but that's where I stand on this map. Blood of the Dead is over.